We are talking with Doug Upstone from ImpactWageringSolutions.com, Steve from CollegeFootballWinning.com, and Zach Rosenfield from AccuScore.com, previewing Week 12 in college football here on the SBR TV College Football Experts Roundtable. The next game we're going to get into is one of Zach's games. Now, he picked Kansas State at Texas, and these are both two of the most interesting teams to bet on all year long. Kansas State, of course, has been a very undervalued team. They've been a great bet on the year. And I was talking in my call with Doc earlier today, and he admitted that lines makers in general just don't think Kansas State is very good. And last week they were a big home dog, which was some people saw as a line that had great value. Turned out to be the case. I'm looking at this though. They're now going on the road at Texas. They're a single-digit underdog. Texas though is also kind of a team where you don't know. They should be a lot better. They've got a bunch of injuries, big injuries in the backfield. There's a whole bunch of question marks here. I'm not sure what I think about it, but I'm very interested to hear what Zach has to say about it. What do you think here?
Well, I think anybody at this point in the season who's going to make a wager on Kansas State is probably doing so because they had to learn the hard way and lose a wager earlier in the season with Kansas State. And I could add myself to that group. I was not a big buyer in Kansas State. They taught me a lesson when they played Miami, and I've been paying close attention to them. Because I specialize in the Big 12, specifically in the state of Oklahoma, I always take a keen interest in what's going on at the University of Texas. And what I see what's going on right there is an absolute disaster. They have an offensive coordinator in Brian Harston, who comes from Boise State, who is, he's kind of gimmicky. And you have Matt Brown overseeing an offense that can't decide if they want to be the zone read or be pro style. And because of it, they're floundering. And they're at the point in the year where you're having these guys from Texas saying that they should have this fight there at Texas. This situation isn't too different than what I felt you saw last year when Baylor came to Austin as a 9-point underdog and beat Texas straight up. Take a look at what's happening at Kansas State. We think Texas is going to commit to the run. Even though they lost Fozzie Whitaker, they have the great running back in Malcolm Brown, National High School Player of the Year on offense last year. He's going to be very good, but he's not there yet. Kansas State's defense is only giving up roughly 117 yards per game. What I like about Kansas State is not only their quarterback, it's easy to say that, but I like that AccuScore has successfully picked the side in their games 8 times against 1 loss, and we're 67% against the spread this season in the Big 12. In situations where Kansas State has played similar offenses to what Texas is going to bring to the table, which is as small of a sample as you can get, being that it's a 1-game sample with Missouri. They held Missouri to 17 points, and they beat Missouri straight up. So I'm really, really concerned about what's happening with Texas. They've showed early on this year that when they get punched in the mouth, or that teams like to wear on going long in games, they just don't have what it takes. And if I'm questioning what type of offense they have, I guarantee you all those 4- and 5-star recruits are starting to do the same inside the Texas locker room. There is no way on earth I would ever give anybody 9.5 points and take Texas this time in the season with this team. Take Kansas State.
Steve from CollegeFootballWinning.com. How do you think that multiple overtime game will affect Kansas State here? And is there either side you'd endorse?
Kansas State seems to be getting into dogfights pretty regularly this year. So. Right. I don't think that 4 overtime game is going to have a crushing effect on them. And as we've talked about before, if there's any effect, it probably wears off after the first quarter or so. And Kansas State is just so well coached. And that's it. When you worry about hangovers and sort of hangover effects, you worry about coaching. And K-State is so well coached. And I'm totally shocked to hear that Zach, an Oklahoma guy, is dissing Texas. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to jump on with Zach there in this case. And this is going to shock a lot of people who haven't been looking at it. But head-to-head, Kansas State owns Texas. And that's a shocking revelation to most. They're 5-2 straight up against these guys, but 7-0 against the spread dating back to 1998.
There you go.
Against Texas, head-to-head.
All right.
There are, as you mentioned, serious running back injuries and depth concerns. The way to beat Kansas State, if there is a way to beat them, is just ask Oklahoma State. It's through the air. It's passing. That's not going to happen with Texas, as they're the 92nd ranked passing offense. So if you can pass, you got a real shot against K-State. Texas has not proven that they can do that. 9 points in this game, to me, and here at collegefootballwinning.com, for our power ratings, that's off by 4 or 5 points easily. take K-State and get your 9.5, get as many points as you can.
Doug Upstone from ImpactWageringSolutions.com. Do you want to make this one another unanimous decision by
the panel? It's going to be a rare one here, Peter, but I'm actually going to pass on this game.
Okay.
And the reason that I'm going to is, Texas does have some issues. There's no question about it. But, in the conversation I'm hearing and actually some of the things I read, it's all of a sudden like Mac Brown's this idiot, okay? And I'm just not buying into it. I mean, this guy has been too successful of a coach for too long of a time. His team is extremely young this year. They literally just gutted last year's team that was who thought they just because they put on a Texas uniform, thought that they should just win automatically. So there's going to be some growing pains. You change the coaching staff around, and with the injuries, with the lack of a passing game, they are limited in terms of what they can do. But defensively, they're still a pretty good football team. Now, Kansas State is, Bill Snyder. I mean, you could make a very strong case that he should be Coach of the Year based on, as you said, what the experts have said about their talent level, which I agree with. So, I mean, he's done a tremendous job. But, 4 overtimes, that's a lot of emotion, okay? And then you got to take that and convey that to go onto the road and make that work. And I'm just not seeing where that's going to happen. I'm going to pass on this game just altogether. I just don't like it.